This is the back of the house. This is the south side of the house. This is the garage. This is the southwest corner. This is the west side of the garage car entry. This is the electric meter. Electric meter box should be sealed on 3 sides to help prevent moisture infiltration into the bricks. Our electric power is below grade, which is actually a good thing. We got a slip joint on the conduit, the power supply conduit. This is a good thing. This is our grounding rod. This is the grounding rod acorn nut. It really kind of should be buried a little better than that, but we're only talking about a couple inches. One thing that wasn't required when this home was built is a second grounding rod within 6 feet of the box. That's a safety device, so that's going to make the report wasn't required. So inside the garage, on the west wall, on this south side of the west wall, the garage. This is our electric load center, a breaker box, a service panel. Call it what you will. So over here we got L1 and L2. All right. So they should have protective booties on these 2 boxes. If you don't know that's hot, you don't belong in this box. I get that. But that's what you're supposed to have. And then our main neutral coming in, it's supposed to be wrapped 4 times with white tape. If you don't know that's the main neutral, then you don't belong in this cabinet. I get that. But it's supposed to be wrapped with white tape. Then we come over here. This is our air conditioning unit. This is a white hot coming in. And if you don't know that's a white hot for our air conditioning system, 240, if you don't know this is a white hot for a clothes dryer, then you don't belong in this cabinet. I get that. I get that. But you should have black tape wrapped on this, and you should have black tape wrapped on that one. I didn't make up the rules. And speaking, when this home was built, it was okay to have, and what is this? This is off? What is this off for? I must have turned these off accidentally when I took the cabinet off, and I'll explain that in a minute, and I think I did. So, interesting to note. But now, the clothes dryer circuit, that's the second one, it should be the second one, it'll be the 30 amp one, right? Water heater, okay, range, water heater, dryer's over here, okay. 30 amp for the dryer, 30 amps for the water heater. The water heater should be wrapped with black tape. Now, the clothes dryer should be GFCI protected by today's standards. When this home was built, it wasn't required. Just like the ceiling receptacle outlet for the garage overhead door, which you'll see later on if you watch the videos in the order of the report. But this should be GFCI protected by today's standards. Now, by current standards, you cannot put a larger breaker on a breaker larger than rated. I'm going to say you can't. You shouldn't put a breaker larger than the wire was rated to carry it. But you can put a breaker smaller than the wire is rated to carry it. So this wire is rated for 40 amps, but your condensing unit is rated, has been replaced about 5 years ago, and it's rated for 35 amps. So the breaker for the condensing unit is oversized. If the condensing unit is overfused. What does that mean, bud? Well, it means that this breaker might not trip in a timely manner in order to save your equipment. This equipment could be operating in critical mode, but the breaker's just happy as a clam. It's just... And so you've lost 5 amps of protection on your HVAC condensing unit. Okay. We shouldn't have debris inside of the cabinet, and we shouldn't have bundling. Okay. And see, this knockout is for L1 and L2 in your neutral, but we didn't know where it was going to be installed, so we have these large knockouts in other places. Then we have these smaller knockouts, because you're not supposed to bring in more than 3 cables at a time. We've got all these cables that come in here, and they're all bundled, and that's called the skin effect. And then that's kind of, I don't know where I'm at with this. I guess I'm out with this one. I guess, but I can fix that. I didn't fix it. There you go. Okay, so the cables aren't touching the cabinet cover, but we do have debris in the cabinet. Then you're not supposed to have more than a 1/4 inch gap between. In fact, you're not supposed to have more than 1/8 of an inch gap. between this cabinet cover is supposed to fit flush to this box, and this box is supposed to seal up to keep the fire from coming out. But that's not what the case is here. This cabinet, this box, has been recessed into the drywall, so you got this big old hairy gap right here, and the fire just curls right on around and starts burning your wall and catching on that does not hold the problem inside of the cabinet. There's a reason why this cabinet is so robust. There's a reason why they do these things, and you've defeated that by recessing the cabinet. Now the cover comes out here, and you've got that gap. You've got that gap, and then you got the debris that's inside of here. And because you got that gap, the original screws wouldn't work. Huh. This is what the manufacturer thinks should have been used to hold the cover on close, tight to this. So we've gone here, we bootleg this. I'm not going to put all of them back. These big old hairy screws right here. You think that's going to tear up some wires? I do. You think that's going to cause a shock problem? Is this right? No, this is not right. It's not right. Then we're supposed to have the grounding location, the main bonding location, posted inside of the box, inside of the cabinet, inside of the load center. And it's over here on the cold water supply of the water heater. And most electricians will come in, and they expect it to be there, and it would be easy for them just to, if they know what they're doing, to go up there and see it. But they shouldn't have to go hunting it down. What if you had this much storage in front of the water heater, and the electrician couldn't even see whether it was bonded or not? So that's why you're supposed to have the bonding location, so that way they don't want to start moving stuff looking for it, because it could be other places too. It could be other locations. So you're supposed to have the bonding location labeled inside of here. And speaking of labeling, then we come over here. The reason why you have this register over here is because the manufacturer expects duplicity. So if this goes, rubs off, you can come over here and find it. And see, this is called printing, where it says Cutler hammer, where it says combination surface flush cover, which you don't have. Okay, so that's printing. This is handwriting, and that's not going to affect the breaker. I get it. I can kind of see these things. I can read a lot of the handwriting. I can't read it all. It's supposed to be printed so you can read it, and durable, and that's a code. I didn't make that up. So that's not printed. That's not duplicated. We got a gap in the panel cover. We got debris in the panel cover. The bonding location is not labeled. We got white hots that are not wrapped with black tape. Our clothes dryer is not GFCI protected. We got bundling. And we got the wrong types of screws. And the meter is not sealed on 3 sides.